Hello humans, I'm the Alien Doctor, but you can call me Alien, and today I'm going to be showing you 3 resource packs for Minecraft Bedrock Edition, which are necessary if you want to play this game in a technical way. If you think that your playstyle is technical, then these 3 resource packs are a necessity for you. So the idea of this is that these 3 resource packs are going to be, 3 resource packs which, if you play Minecraft Bedrock Edition in a technical way, are going to be extremely useful for you and save you quite a lot of time. So when I say technical playstyle, I don't just mean that you are able to copy tutorials. I mean that you're able to actually design your own stuff. Now obviously in here, there's not a massive amount of stuff, because this is like my 4th testing world, because 2 of them have got corrupted, and then there's my first one down there. And yeah, that's big sad. But yeah, basically when I say technical, I mean doing things like designing mob farms and designing redstone contraptions and all of that sort of thing. Now don't worry too much if you don't design your own contraptions or redstone builds or stuff. It doesn't matter too much. For example, this gunpowder farm, I understand fully how it works, so much that I modified it to actually make it a general mob farm as opposed to being a gunpowder only farm like what the original tutorial was. And then obviously that raid farm, I just completely copied the tutorial for that. So although generally if you are a technical player, you are able to design your own stuff, but you also don't have to design your own stuff. Like, for example, I didn't feel it very necessary to design a raid farm because I knew that raid farm already existed and that it was a pretty good one. However, I did feel the need to design this, which is my coral fan farm, because there weren't that many other coral fan farms out there. As well as that, I obviously also designed this slime farm as well, which clearly is not working properly because I can see a zombie in here. But yeah, because I know in that intro it kind of sounded a bit harsh of me saying that you have to design your own stuff and that you're not just following tutorials, but that doesn't mean that you don't only follow tutorials. A mix of the both, in my opinion, means that you're also a technical player. However, bear in mind that a lot of this video involves my opinion. Like, for an example, what a technical player is, this is my opinion of how I define a technical player. It's also my opinion of, these 3 add-ons that I'm going to show you. And, it's all my opinion that they're necessary for technical Minecraft. But, you might disagree. And you might go, well, add-on number 2 is completely not necessary and you don't need it. Now, I would disagree with you, but hey, that's just our different opinions. So without further ado, let's get into the actual video. So let's get right into it, and starting off with the first one. So, well, I guess I'll go to my global resources, and you can see here the first one is called Spawning Radius Outliner. This is created by someone called CJ Bot, and as far as I'm aware, the only place to download it is in Silent Whisperer's Discord server, known as the Silent Syndicate. So I can confirm that after looking around, that the only place to download this from, as far as I'm aware anyway, is the Silent Syndicate Discord server, which is another YouTuber known as Silent Whisperer. That is his Discord server, and that is the only place you can download the pack, so I will show you that in a little bit. However, first of all, let's show you the actual pack. So, all you're going to need is an armor stand, and you can either use a redstone torch or just a normal torch. I'm going to get both to show you that it works. Then you simply place down your armor stand, so let's place it down right here. There we go. And then simply give the armor stand a redstone torch. Now, if you are a technical player, then you should know exactly what this is. This is the spawning spheres for a simulation distance of 4. So these spheres basically indicate how the game will spawn in mobs. So anything inside this green sphere is non-spawnable areas basically, so mobs could not spawn anywhere on these blocks, and the reason why is because they are too close to the player. The player is obviously represented by the armor stand. Anything outside this green sphere but inside the red one, mobs will be able to spawn. So for example, mobs will be able to spawn all in these areas because they are not inside the green circle, but they are inside the red circle or sphere. And then outside of that, mobs will instantly despawn. So let's say if a mob is inside the red sphere and then walks out of it, like I'm pretty sure I'm out of it now, yeah I am. If I was a skeleton or a creeper or whatever, I would despawn, and that is the same for passive mobs as well as Yeah, not passive mobs. Aggressive mobs, that's the word. So this pack has so many uses. It will help you find AFK spots for mob farms and, you know, all of that sort of thing. And yeah, it's just genuinely so useful. Obviously, unfortunately, there is only simulation distance of 4. So this is only designed to show you the spawning spheres for a sim distance of 4. So if you're on anything above that, then, well, yeah, the spawning spheres will be inaccurate. However, realms are stuck on sim distance of 4, and it's also the default for Bedrock dedicated servers. And as far as I'm aware, most technical players generally play on a sim distance of 4 anyway, just because of all of that. And most people also design farms for a sim distance of 4. So if you are designing a farm, especially one that you're going to be releasing to, you know, to the public on a YouTube tutorial or whatever, you're going to want to make sure you're using the sim distance of 4 and using these spawning spheres, because that way it will work for every other sim distance. Now, right-clicking on the armor stand to obviously change its position, and that's just giving me back its torch. But yeah, as you can see, it will change a bunch of things with the pack. So now it's spinny, now it's slowly spinning, and now it's just stopped. And yeah, however, you can also give it a normal torch, and the normal torch will make it do all sorts of weird positions as well. I think it's probably easier to use the redstone torch one as opposed to the normal torch one, although there's no reason why you couldn't use both at the same time. Like this, there we go. Although, I mean, this isn't very convenient at all, but I guess it's still a thing that you could do if you wanted to. Now, you may have noticed that the you know, spawning spheres keep disappearing. The only downside with this pack is that it has to be in your vision. If you aren't looking at the armor stand, then, well, the spawning spheres will, in fact, disappear. Other than that, it is a really good pack, though, and just so incredibly useful, and it can save you so much time. It is genuinely super useful, and I'm so glad I found this as well. So full credit to the creator for making this as well. I did not make any of the packs that I show today. So, as I mentioned, this pack is only available to download from Silent Whisperer's Discord server, also known as the Silent Syndicate. There'll be a link to join it in the description. And then if you basically head over to help and then to the pinned messages, then there's also a couple of other packs here. However, this is the main one, which is the spawning sphere radius outliner thingy. This is obviously the one that I'm showing off in today's video, but there are a bunch of other packs here as well. But yeah, this Discord server is just a great place to be in general as well, especially if you do like Bedrock technical stuff. Yeah. Okay, so on to pack number 2, and you will know if you have ever played technical Minecraft Bedrock that chunk aligning is incredibly important. You know, if for example a minecart goes into unloaded chunks, sometimes it can delete itself, and you know, you're just quite a lot of builds, technical things, you know, it's good to have them chunk aligned. It's also just good general practice. Even if you don't need to chunk align it, it's still a good idea to, just in case. Although I will admit I don't always chunk align my stuff. But yeah, and you'll also probably know that in Bedrock Edition, the only way to see chunk borders is to actually use shaders. The problem is that ever since they changed the rendering engine to Render Dragon, we have not been able to actually use shaders or third-party shaders. The only shaders we actually have access to is ray tracing, assuming you have a compatible graphics card, which means, yeah, you can't basically use chunk border resource packs, which rely on shaders. Or so you thought. So someone who goes by the name of Mad Hatter has actually created a resource pack that if we put in an item such as a firework rocket or a Nautilus shell into our offhand and then press F5, we can actually see chunk borders. I know, this is amazing. So unfortunately it does not work in normal mode, like in not F5 mode. However, if you are in third person, it does work, and it is absolutely amazing. I guess it is a little bit awkward to build in F5, but I mean, hey, you know what? It works, and I am not really complaining because this is basically the only chunk border resource pack that we have right now. So as you can see, I've just marked out a chunk, and I can confirm to you it is a 16 by 16 chunk you know, the pack works. It also shows you vertical chunks, although generally vertical chunks in Bedrock don't massively matter for anything. But yeah, I mean, they're still there if you need them. It's amazing. Okay, so next up, let's TP my alt account again over to us. Seems you're getting a lot of camera time today, that tech enthusiast. But anyway, and let's just get out of fly mode. There we go. So I'm going to give my alt account the firework rocket, and my alt account is going to put it in its offhand. Now bear in mind, it does not have the resource pack applied to it. As you can see, I put the firework rocket in my alt's offhand or second hand or whatever it's called. And as you can see, although my alt account cannot see the chunk borders, I still can see the chunk borders. There we go. Where are we? Here we are. So this is amazing. So I don't have to be holding the firework rocket. As long as someone around you is holding the firework rocket in the offhand, you will still be able to see the chunk borders. It is only the chunk border that player is in. So it's not, you know, all of the chunk borders in the world. It's only the ones that player is in. However, it still is really not that bad, all things considered, that this is basically the only chunk border resource pack we have on Bedrock Edition right now. So the last thing to check with this pack is whether these are actual chunk borders, because, well, you never know. Maybe these are just, you know, not actual chunk borders and just random 16 by 16 grids. You can also see there as you walk, it does kind of glitch around a little bit. However, it's all right. I'm willing to put up with little glitches and bugs like that if, you know, it means that we can have chunk borders. Also, if you look here, you can see, depending on, in fact, you know what, it'd probably be easier if I just show you. So depending on where you are in the chunk borders or lines do move slightly. However, if you yourself are holding the actual firework rocket or whatever, it's not a massive deal. You can only really notice it when it's the other player holding it. So if I put it back in my spectators offhand, you can see here, as you can see, because so this lines up perfectly on the edge of one block. However, over here is only, well, it's actually missing a whole area because it's, yeah, not close enough to it, if that makes sense. However, if we, you know, move my alt account over, then you can see here it sort of lines up. It still doesn't properly line up. So this pack is really better in single player use, as opposed to getting your alt account to help you mark out chunk borders. But I mean, still, it still works. Like, so obviously most people would come to a website like Chunkbase to find, you know, to find chunk borders. And as you can see here, we're actually going to check that these are definitely actual chunk borders. So I can see, as you can see in that text there, which if I hover my mouse over disappears, we can obviously see the coordinates of the chunk borders. So if we go back into Minecraft now, we should be able to double check that these are the actual chunk borders. So I'm just going to mark out the coordinates it says on Chunkbase really quickly. So after using Chunkbase to actually check the coordinates, I can confirm to you, and yep, they are definitely right. I can confirm to you that this chunk border resource pack does show the actual chunk borders and is not just, you know, messing around and pretending to show chunk borders. It is actually chunk borders, which is absolutely amazing, or at least according to Chunkbase it is. However, Chunkbase has never let me down before. So the next pack is actually a port of a well-known Java Edition pack. So everyone watching this probably has heard of Vanilla Tweaks, which is a modular resource pack for Java Edition. So that what that means is you can select specific text changes and then download it, you know, as a resource pack. Well, there is actually an unofficial Bedrock version known as Bedrock Tweaks. So if you go to bedrocktweaks.net in your browser, then it will come up with this web page. This was developed by someone who goes by the name, I believe it's called like Dr. Av or something like that is how you say it. And as you can see here, this is pretty similar to the, you know, Java Edition Vanilla Tweaks. It has all of the same textures. The website does look a little bit different, but, you know, it's still, there's nothing wrong with it. And yeah, now there are a couple of things on here which are really, really useful when you're a technical player. So the main ones is directional hoppers, sticky piston sides, the, where is it, better observers, visible tripwires, and the clean redstone dust. And I guess also the text set as well, if you ever get any, like, glitched tile blocks, as I like to call them. Don't actually know if that's their proper name. And then obviously there's also all of this unobtrusive stuff as well, and all of this other fancy stuff, the numbered hotbar, you know, there's all sorts of things which could come in handy. Villager trading plus thing, know how to play button. You can even do select the panos, although I made a pano selected resource pack, so you should just go check that out instead. Mine's better. And I made a zombie pigman pack, so you should check that out as well. But yeah, there are just so many various different textures that are really useful. Like, oh, this brewing guide as well. Let's actually download a couple of these. I use these all the times in my videos. But anyway, let's just download a couple of these, and obviously you install it the same way as you install any other Bedrock Edition resource pack. So obviously open the file and then go to your global resources. And here we go, let's apply it. And as we load into the world, you can already see that down there in the hotbar, they now have numbers, which is absolutely amazing. We've also got this, so you can see here, that blue box thing is actually transparent. I personally think it's a bit too transparent for my liking, which is why I don't use it anymore. But yeah, and I thought I selected the Roman numeral to normal numbers, but maybe I didn't, whatever. So obviously a couple of the essential ones, because there are ones which I would really strongly recommend if you're a technical player, is the sticky piston sides. This is incredibly useful because if you are working in a like either compact or just tight redstone contraption, you're not going to know, you know, like which piston is the normal piston and which one is the sticky piston without having the sticky slime on the sides. So obviously now we know that this piston is normal and this piston's sticky. You kind of already have seen it, but the directional or just better observers, so when they detect a change or whatever, when they fire basically, obviously these red lights will light up. It also, the front texture kind of changes a little bit, but sort of like a face in a way, and it's just incredibly useful so that first of all you know which way it's facing with this arrow, and yeah, all of that sort of thing as well, and you know when it's firing as opposed to not really knowing when it's firing if there's like a block in front of it or whatever. Clean redstone dust is another one. They used to have redstone dust power levels, however, as I mentioned earlier, that relied on shaders, and shaders in Bedrock Edition no longer work. But yeah, clean redstone dust, and when it comes back, hopefully, redstone power levels as well. So this one I personally don't use, however, it's visible tripwire hooks or just string in general. The reason I don't use it is because you know, string is often used to put on the top of buildings to, you know, stop it from snowing, or I think you might even be able to use it as mob proofing, I can't remember. But yeah, so that's why I don't use string or the visible string, because, you know, it looks really bad in creative builds. But if you literally only do creative redstone, then, or even survival redstone to a certain extent, you're probably not going to care of this ugly blue string texture. And then also, we've also got directional hoppers. So you can see here which direction the hopper is facing from the top. So with this arrow, we know it's facing over here. And also, if we were to power it, you can see here that all of the like red stuff will light up, letting you know that it is being powered, which is absolutely amazing. And yeah, so there are so many useful little things in this pack. And obviously the great thing is it's modular, so you can choose the ones that you don't want. There's also lower fire. This is just so useful, especially when you are building a fortress farm like I was on AlienCraft the other day, which is my vanilla Bedrock Edition survival series. You should go check that out. And yeah, having lower fire as well is just another thing that is super useful. I'm not sure if it's lower fire as in this fire is lower, or the one that, like, when you're on fire it's lower. I'm not actually sure which one it is, to be honest, but either way, still useful. So do let me know which pack is your favorite. I'm honestly not sure. I like all of these. They're just all so useful. But yeah, do let me know which one is your favorite. Thank you ever so much for watching. Feel free to go and check out all of my other content and subscribe and join the Alien Empire today. All that jazz. I'll see you in the next video very soon. Bye.